Welcome to the 2020 RACGP National Awards Ceremony. I'm Warwick Merry. I'm going to be your host for the next hour and a half or so. Thank you so much for joining us. What a year it has been. This award ceremony is all about celebration and celebrating the great work that you have all done throughout this great country of ours. Now, there has been some strong competition in the awards this year with over 185 nominations received for the RACGP Awards across 9 different categories. Now, as we get started, I wanted to recognise and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet and which we're all gathering from this evening, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I'm joining you from the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations here in Melbourne. Now, throughout the course of the evening, let's be honest, we've been through far too much isolation already. Now, we had a bit of a chat in the warm-up cocktail party. There's a chat function on the service you're watching now. I'd strongly encourage you to use it. Have a chat to the other people. Find out how those pizzas are going. Maybe Cameron can share some of the different photos he's been taking. Whatever it is, just make sure you're having a bit of a chat and engaging and connecting. At the very least, celebrate some of the achievements that are going to be announced over the course of the evening. This is your evening. We'd love for you to be part of it and truly engage and have a bit of fun as we go along. How does that sound? I hope that's going to be good for you. Now, this evening, as you're celebrating, as you're doing, we'd love you to take a couple of pictures and share them with the hashtag RACGP Awards. There's a couple out there on Twitter already. There's a couple that on Instagram. So check them out and share them so we can see how you're celebrating this evening. You could be staying at home having the pizza. You might be chasing the chooks around. Who knows what you're up to? But we'd love to see how you're celebrating this evening. Now, we are going to take a short intermission halfway through, so you can top up your beverages and do whatever you need to do. Maybe get a few more snacks. That'll be happening about that halfway mark. So to kick off formally for this evening, I'd like to introduce the Acting President, Eamon Shenouda, to welcome our attendees and to commence our proceedings. So please join me in welcoming Associate Professor Eamon Shenouda, the RACGP Acting President.
Good evening to everyone joining us tonight. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we deliver this message, the Ngunnawal people. I pay my respect to the elders past, present and emerging. It is an honor to welcome you all to GP 2020 RACGP National Awards Ceremony. When I reflect on RACGP Award nominees and those recipients being acknowledged this evening, it is just another reminder to how important GPs are to their communities and the health of our nation. There are people who are there for their patients when health crises strike and ensure the most vulnerable members of our community are not forgotten. I congratulate award winners. This year, I was struck by how humble they were. They had to be coaxed to speak about themselves when approached by media. These GPs were hesitant to draw attention to themselves because that is not what drives the profession. What drives us GPs is commitment to our patients, especially when they need us most. I cannot be prouder to have led an organization that fights for them every day. I would like now to take the opportunity to award the Honorary Fellowship for 2020. It is a great honor to announce that Dr. Trina Gregory is Award Honorary Fellowship of the RACGP. Congratulations, Trina. I would now like to take the opportunity to award the Honorary Membership for 2020. It is my pleasure to announce that Ms. Fiona Edgecombe and Mr. Mark Evans are awarded Honorary Fellowship for the RACGP. Please join me in congratulating Fiona and Mark. Congratulations in advance to the award recipients to be acknowledged throughout the evening ceremony. It is the most deserved. It has been my pleasure. Thank you.
Congratulations to Trina, Fiona and Mark. What a fantastic way to kick off this awards night. All right, let's get into it. Without further ado, we're going to get straight into the awards and kick off with the Monty Kent Hughes Awards. So Dr. Montague Kent Hughes was a founding fellow of the RACGP and a distinguished educator. During his career, he served as RACGP President, Chair of the Victorian Faculty, a Council member, and also Chair of the Education Committee. In 1975, he was awarded the prestigious Rose Hunt Medal. In 1967, Dr. Kent Hughes organised the first RACGP examination, and until his passing in 1976, loyally fostered its development. In honour of Dr. Kent Hughes, a medal is awarded to the candidate who achieves the highest score in the RACGP OSCE. It's a great pleasure to announce that the candidate who achieved the highest score for the 2019-2 RACGP exam cycle is Dr. Chantel Blagg, and she is awarded the Monty Kent Hughes Memorial Medal. Congratulations, Chantel. I'm now going to move on to the Corliss Award. Now, the Corliss Award commemorates the contribution of Dr. Wilson Corliss, or known as Bill, to the RACGP standing as a leader in medical education. The award recognises the RACGP member or fellow who has substantially contributed to the education and mentoring of doctors who are on any of the RACGP pathways to fellowship. It's a great pleasure to announce that the 2020 recipient of the Corliss Award is Dr. Anne Eastwood.
I'm honoured and very surprised to win this award, and I'm grateful to the RACGP. Australia has a sizable, dedicated, skilled and collaborative band of medical educators, many of whom have encouraged and inspired me, and who would also deserve this award. I have learned most of what I know about educating future general practitioners from them. The legacy of early medical educators such as Bill Corliss continues, and the number of enthusiastic and capable younger medical educators who are joining the ranks gives me confidence that it will endure. My registrars continue to inspire me with the way that they manage a short, intense vocational training program alongside other responsibilities such as family and Defence Force commitments. Nothing gives me a greater feeling of satisfaction than a former registrar reappearing as a supervisor, teaching visitor, or medical educator. I would also like to acknowledge the role played by the supervisors who have the key role in our workplace-based training program. I would like to thank my colleagues at GP Synergy for nominating me and for providing a stimulating, challenging and supportive place to work. And again, I thank the RACGP for this award.
So a bit of background about Anne for those of you who don't know her. Anne has acquired a well-deserved reputation for hard work, commitment and reliability. And she's a highly respected member of the GP Synergy team. Anne has a genuine commitment to bettering the lives of others, demonstrated through her GP career in refugee health, and plays an instrumental role in successful progression of the Australian Defence Force registrars through their training. So congratulations, Anne, on winning that award. I'm now moving on to the Rose Hunt Award. The Rose Hunt Award is the highest accolade awarded by the RACGP. The Rose Hunt Award is presented to a GP who's demonstrated outstanding service in promoting the objectives of the RACGP, either through individual patient care, education, research, or any other means. This award was a gift to the Royal College of General Practitioners to the RACGP in 1972. The first award was made in October 1974 to Dr. William Arnold Colby, a founding father of the RACGP. It's my great pleasure to announce the 2020 recipient of the Rose Hunt Award is Associate Professor Brad Murphy. Now, Brad was the inaugural chair of the RACGP National Faculty of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health. Brad drove the development of the faculty and its successful recognition as a fundamental and enduring component of the college. Through his example, his leadership and his legacy, Brad has changed Australian general practice and the college. He's an inspiration to us all, but especially to young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are medical students and GP registrar. Brad pushed in 2008 to create the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health faculty and to have full representation on the board. He highlighted early on in his time as chair that his wish for RACGP growing to be respectful of the history of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. His fervent wish for RACGP was to strengthen its role supporting the health of his people. This year, the faculty celebrates its 10th anniversary. I'd like to now welcome Brad to accept this award.
Hi guys, I'm Associate Professor Brad Murphy from Ashfield Country Practice in Bundaberg. It's the greatest honour to receive the Rose Hunt Award. It's extremely humbling, and to be amongst so many of the college's legends and mentors that I've had along the way. And of course, there's so many deserving people, and particularly in this 10th anniversary of us starting the National Faculty of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health, it's the greatest honour to be acknowledged, and I think also it's a great acknowledgement of the work that the team within the faculty have done. We started back in 2007 getting our National Standing Committee going, building upon the work that had been done by the team in the Aboriginal Health Unit before that. The time was right. The college was at the forefront and we're already kicking goals. And we did that with the National Standing Committee, and we're able to transition that into a national faculty, acknowledging that the work of general practice occurs on traditional lands of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. As a Kamilaroi man, I'm extremely honoured to be a GP and to represent my people, but also to represent Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people across Australia. And we've got a little practice in Bundaberg that focuses on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health, as well as veterans health, with my veteran background as a Navy sailor. It's an incredible honour to be a GP in Australia, and particularly through this COVID crisis, to hold your head when all others are losing theirs around us. It's been a tremendous time to make sure that we supported our communities, our staff, making sure that we're looking after ourselves as well. Making sure that our own mental health and trying to work in an ever-changing environment has been an incredible challenge for this year in particular. But I'd like to say a really tremendous shout out and thanks to the college for all the support that they've afforded me over the years to take my dream forward and see it recognised now as a national faculty, and to all of those that shared that dream and came along and invested. The faculty now has over 11,000 members of people that opt in from the college membership, and they're key strategic stakeholders in so many areas of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health in Australia, lending advocacy and support to a whole heap of other key strategic stakeholders as well. I think that one of the greatest joys that I've seen in time is the acceptance that closing the gap is going to be harder than we thought, but harder than we thought because of the great job that we're doing. That Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health, when it's done well, actually influences in an extremely positive way the healthcare for all Australians. And so while we continue to move the goalposts for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, we're actually moving the goalposts for all Australians, making everyone healthier along the way. So that's a bit more of a challenge. So I don't think we should be so hard upon ourselves with those milestones. But we've got a long way to go, and we've come a long way, and some tremendous people doing some tremendous work. And I'm very honoured to receive this award from the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners. It's been a hell of a ride, and it's not over yet. Thanks so much.
Congratulations, Brad. And it's quite obvious that you're passionate about your positioning there. So thank you so much for the great work that you do. I'm excited about what's coming up over the next couple of days with the convention happening. So not only do we have the awards tonight, but we're getting into that convention coming up shortly. And we can't do it without all the great sponsors and exhibitors that we have. So if you haven't already, make sure you take your time over the next few days to check out our sponsor in the exhibition area. There's a whole great amount of information there, so please make sure you check those guys out as well. You can do it after the awards tonight if you want. It's up to you, but there'll be people there to answer your questions tomorrow. By the way, we're seeing a few things come through on our hashtag RACGP Awards, hashtag RACGP Awards. So please make sure you're sharing some of your photos and commenting on them and continuing to chat in the chat box. Very important that you stay connected in this weird and wonderful time. I want to move on because it's time for our Future Leaders President's Medal. Our leaders are what help shape us and help position us. So every year, participants in the RACGP's Future Leaders Program work on leadership in general practice. The quality of activities, contributions and projects is increasing year on year with greater diversity in participation, giving rise to new and innovative ideas. Now, the RACGP Future Leaders President Medal was approved in 2019 as an annual perpetual award. The medal recognises the individual who is most likely to contribute to the leadership of the RACGP or a leader in general practice into the future. It's a great pleasure to announce that the 2020 recipient of the Future Leaders President's Medal is Dr. Kerry Summerscales. Now, Dr. Kerry Summerscales began her journey of leadership in medicine by commencing the RACGP Future Leaders Program. At a local level, she's created a culture of accessibility to a comprehensive veterans health program. Her decades of Army service was instrumental in her development of an environment which was familiar and lessened the anxiety and fear for veterans to seek healthcare and for them to open up about long-standing concerns. Kerry was selected for her relentless enthusiasm in advocating for military veterans' health. She's committed to advancing her ability and implement health strategies across the population more broadly. We expect to see her become a more public figure within the RACGP in the coming years. I'd now like to welcome Kerry to accept this award.
Thank you very much for the honour for selecting me for the President's Medal for the 2020 Future Leaders Program. It wasn't something I expected, and it's certainly something I see as an honour. There were so many projects that had so much potential and were doing so well and are really needed. So it was really quite an honour to be chosen from amongst such an amazing group of people and projects. As many would know, my project's about veterans' health and promoting it amongst GPs and the general community. As a veteran myself and someone who sees increasingly more veterans, as about 50–60% of my patient load is now veterans, which I love. And I realise now that I've got out, I'm essentially doing the same job. I just get to wear a pretty dress when I'm doing it. But it's an important cultural and health area that does need to be looked at. And so I'm glad that I've been able to push this forward and get some information out there in education dinners. I must also really thank Michael Clements and NAFL, and Michael is the chair of NAFL, who's been able to provide me the opportunity to present this information. Michael is also a veteran. And I'd also like to thank my mentor, Brad Murphy, who's a veteran himself. So we've got all three services represented. So myself, Army, Michael RAF, and Brad Navy. I hope that this does go further. I really do hope to promote veterans' health, but I want to thank the opportunity that this program's given me to really give me some information and skill set that I wouldn't have had beforehand. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Kerry, and thank you so much for the great work that you do. Our next group of awards are those delivered on a national level. Now, the award finalists are the individual winners from each of our state faculties, with each state level winner going into the running for a national award. The first up is GP Supervisor of the Year. Now, the GP Supervisor of the Year award recognises the dedication of a GP who has acted as a role model, made significant steps in training and mentoring, and has delivered register training. Now, our finalists include Dr. Ronan Mackle from SA and NT, Dr. Danielle James from Queensland, Dr. Anelio Iannuzzi from New South Wales and ACT, Dr. Terence Heng from Victoria, Dr. Andrew Pang from WA, and Dr. Jim Berryman from Tasmania. It's a great pleasure to announce that the 2020 recipient of GP Supervisor of the Year Award is Dr. Jim Berryman. Now, Dr. Jim Berryman is indefatigable. He's inexhaustible. He doesn't get tired. He just keeps going in his commitment to training and supporting his general practice colleagues, GP registrars, the University of Tasmania and the John Flynn Program medical students, nursing and reception staff. Jim shows he cares by going the extra mile, supporting those under his guidance, by making himself available after hours and dedicating hours of extracurricular time to their advancement. His commitment of time is demonstrative in his devotion for caring for his registrars. I'd now like to welcome Jim to accept this award.
Thankful and honoured to receive the National GP Supervisor of the Year Award. I've been supervising for about 20 years and 10 in my own practice. And I was pleasantly surprised to find out that I've been nominated by my registrars and a whole bunch of new fellows. All of the fellows in my practice have been my registrars, and with the current registrars and new fellows, I've got 10 or 11 fantastic young doctors working in my practice. And I'd have to say that the thing that the biggest reward for me in receiving this award is the registrars and the new fellows themselves in launching their general practice careers. And it's always been a pleasure and an honour to be involved in their training. So thank you to my registrars and new fellows, and to the RACGP for this award.
Congratulations, Jim. And Jim really cares. You can tell because he had his eye test chart in the background. I'm standing here going, I can't quite read that bottom line. I might have to get my contacts looked at. So thank you for that one as well, Jim. All right. Our next award is to the General Practitioner in Training of the Year. Now, this award recognises a registrar's commitment to general practice and learning, as well as their service to patients, practice, education, and the local community. So our finalists include, for 2020, Dr. Anna Kearney from SANNT, Dr. Kelly McIntosh from Queensland, Dr. Josephine Guire from New South Wales and ACT, Dr. Catherine Snow from Victoria, and Dr. Anastasia Isakova from WA. It's a great pleasure to announce that the 2020 recipient of the General Practitioner in Training Award of the Year goes to, I'll get there eventually, building the suspense, Dr. Josephine Guire. Now, Dr. Josephine is an outstanding candidate for the award of RACGP GP in Training. Her contribution to both the GP training and her community is significant. Drawing on her background as a registered nurse, general practice experience, cultural experience as a proud Wiradjuri woman, and a parent of 3 teenagers, Josie brings extraordinary strength and resilience to her training work as a GP. The RACGP General Practice of the Year Award recognises as a GP. So I'm now moving on to the General Practice of the Year Award. So the RACGP General Practice of the Year Award recognises practices for their approach. Hang on, I don't think I've congratulated Dr. Josephine enough. I zipped forward a little bit. Well done, Dr. Josephine. That's a superb effort on winning that General Practitioner in Training of the Year Award. I'm sure it came through a massive amount of effort on your behalf. So congratulations and very well done. All right, now I feel comfortable. I can move on to the next award. These are too important to just brush on over. So we have the 2019 Practice of the Year Award. Now, in a rarity, we actually have 2 winners for this award. The RACGP General Practice of the Year Award recognises practices for their approach to patients' health and well-being. The award criteria takes into account a number of factors, including services offered to patients, health promotions initiative in place, provision of high-quality care to patients, and involvement in general practice training. The 2019 General Practice of the Year Award has 2 recipients who are due to be formally awarded at the 2020 Practice Owners National Conference earlier this year in May. And as with all things COVID and pandemic, it was postponed and put off until June 2021. So It's a little later than planned, but it's a great honour to announce that the 2019 Practice of the Year award winners are Ashfield Country Practice in Queensland and Hawkins Medical Clinic in South Australia. I'd firstly like to welcome Brad Murphy to accept this award on behalf of the Ashfield Country Practice.
Hi guys, I'm Associate Professor Brad Murphy from Ashfield Country Practice in Bundaberg in Queensland. It's a great honour to be receiving the GP Practice of the Year. It's a great acknowledgement of the fantastic work that the team have been able to do here, particularly building a practice around Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health and veteran health and the families for all. And of course, we are a mainstream practice, but they're our main focus in our little community that we've got a little practice 10 kilometres out of town that we look out the window and we can watch the cows and the kangaroos and the likes, and particularly at a time when we're social distancing, keeping at least one adult kangaroo apart, it's a good place to be, and it's a great acknowledgement for the team here, and I'm really glad to share that with them. I'm sorry that we're not able to do this in person. It's been certainly a very challenging year for all of us, and I suppose it's a time when the family of the practice is really important, and we've certainly worked hard this year to make sure that we keep that culture and that family support, both for the practice patients, but the practice staff as well. So I hope that maybe GP 21 we'll all get a chance to catch up and share stories once again. And I'd just like to say a very big thank you to the college for this award. It's a great honour, and we'll be putting that trophy up very, very much front of the surgery here to share that with all of our patients and remind the staff of their great work. Thanks to all. Bye now.
And now I'd like to welcome Julie Tullett to accept the award on behalf of the Hawkins Medical Clinic.
I would like to acknowledge the RACGP board and committee members, the incoming president, Dr. Karen Price, and the past president, Dr. Harry Nespolan. Harry had a huge effect on the profile of GPs in Australia and is greatly missed. It is an honour to be joint winners of the 2019 Practice of the Year in conjunction with the Ashfield Country Practice in Queensland. In accepting our award, we build upon the history of our regional South Australian clinic that started in 1947. We acknowledge the Bowendick people as original inhabitants of the area and respect their elders, past, present and future. Hawkins Medical Clinic is situated in the beautiful Blue Lake city of Mount Gambier in the Limestone Coast. It is a large regional general practice with 23 GPs and services a population of around 30,000 people. Our senior practice partner, Dr. Peter Charlton, well known to many, has worked in the clinic for over 35 years, which epitomises the true dedication of a rural GP. Peter is currently on long service leave, so apologises that he is unable to accept this award himself today. We have also been well supported by our long-term practice manager, Dale Beattie, of 31 years, and our dedicated staff, again, many of which have been at the clinic for over 20 years. This isn't the first time Hawkins has won an award. We previously received the SA and NT Practice of the Year in 2002. We are also really excited that one of our partners, Dr. Ronan Mackle, has this year been awarded the SA and NT GP Supervisor of the Year. I can highly recommend life in the country with free parking, no commuting, the Coonawarra wine region on our doorstep, and a very supportive community. Being 500 kilometres from our nearest tertiary hospital does have its challenges, but that is exactly what we as GPs are trained for, specialists in life. Thank you again to the RACGP and its support for our general practitioners Australia-wide. This award is a true reflection of all the hard work and dedication our staff, nurses and doctors have put into the clinic in order to provide the best possible cradle-to-grave service for our community.
Congratulations to Brad, Julie, and all your practice staff for that great achievement. That's superb. I'm sure there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. Speaking of hard work, I don't know about you, I'm a bit parched. I think it's time that we top up our beverages, get a few extra snacks. I want to check how those pizzas are going and see if Cameron's taken any more shots of the night sky out there and see, just sort of what's going on. So I'm going to have a quick visit to the social media streams and see what's going on. We're going to have a break for 10 minutes. So we've got a little video we want to show you that I think is important. I'm going to come back in the middle, have a chat. So if you need to go and fluid out, fluid in, do whatever you need to do. We're going to be back at 10 minutes, so let me just check my time check. All right, I'm 8:02 here in Melbourne, so at 12 minutes past 8, we're going to be back here good to go, but I'll be playing around with you in between. So see you shortly. All right. It's just us. I've snuck in. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me while other people are getting their drinks and stuff. I thought I'd just pop back and have a bit of a chat. So thank you to everyone for being here. I hope you're having a great night. We wanted to make sure that we could celebrate. It's too important to let these awards go past without celebrating them. So the decision was made to do it virtually, and we hope you're getting some enjoyment out of it. We're hoping that more people than ever have been able to be part of it because you're doing it from the comfort of your own lounge room. I haven't seen pictures of that pizza yet. I'm a bit disappointed, but I did go to the socials. You guys are going off, which is superb. So great to see the hashtags out there. So don't forget, it's RACGP Awards, hashtag RACGP Awards on the social media of your choice. Twitter's pretty heavy, but there's a few people elsewhere. And also on the event stream where you are. It's lovely to see everybody chatting. let's face it, it's been a weird year, hasn't it? And I don't think it's going to get any. Well, we're just shifting. Normal no longer exists. I think we just call it abnormal. 2020, the year of abnormal, and you guys are in the front line, which is not as much fun as you'd like it to be. So good on you for doing all the fabulous stuff that you do. So just hit that social medias and share some of the stuff that's going on. And our thoughts are with our Adelaide crew having their instant lockdown. Being in Melbourne, we know what it's like, and it's not as much fun as you'd like it to be, but it's so worthwhile. So good on you, Adelaide, for going through it. We appreciate it. You're doing very, very well indeed. And so being a GP in the country's got to be a whole lot of fun. There was some commentary before about the free parking. Woo! That's got to be a good thing. And being a closer part of the community. And they're always after GPs. My mum lives in a small country town in Queensland, a little place called Tin Can Bay. And she's of that age where, when we talk, it is about what doctor appointment that she's up to, whether it's the cardiologist or whether it's the blood pressure specialist or whoever it is. And she keeps complaining, it's hard to get into the doctors up here. We have to wait 3 weeks to get an appointment. So if you're looking for that rural retreat, and why wouldn't you? Who'd want to live in the city anymore with all the traffic, etc.? And it's interesting with traffic. I was talking to a friend the other day, and they were complaining about, the traffic's got worse again, and here am I sitting in traffic getting upset. And my observation is, yeah, but you are traffic by sitting in it. So it's a good thing not to be. Don't be traffic. Don't go out there. Stay at home. And the joy of staying at home and working from home is that you don't have to wear shoes, and even here tonight, not wearing shoes. I don't know why I'm dressed up in black tie, though. I do know, because it's a formal awards and I want to celebrate it with you. But I'm the only one. Everyone else is just looking around in their active wear, or their polo shirts or whatever. But anyway, I'm prepared to do it for you. I will take that hit of wearing a very heavy woolen coat in a slightly air-conditioned room just to make sure you're having a fun and exciting time. And I do hope that you're enjoying these awards, and I'm sure you would be. And fantastic work for our recipients. As I said previously, don't forget, we'd love you to go and check out what's going on in our sponsorship area. So make sure that over the course of the conference coming up, go and have a chat with some of the sponsors, find out what are some of the things that you might need, and just have that kind of conversation, as well as taking advantage of the digital show bag, all the great stuff that's going on. All right, we're going to come back in a couple of minutes' time and get ready to kick it off. But first, something special for you. Let's go. Woo! Welcome back. I hope you've got your glasses full and your bowls of snacks done and you've eaten those pizzas and done all the good gear that you have to do. We're going to kick on to the awards. But before we do, have you ever felt that something's just not where it should be? You know, when you're sort of going, have I got my keys? Something's not right. There was something not right before. I knew that we had a video for Dr. Josie, who was the recipient of the GP in training, but I pressed the wrong button and we didn't play it. It's too important not to play, so I'd like to play that video now from Dr. Josie. So here's the video.
I'd firstly like to thank the RACGP for this award. I'm very humbled to receive it. I really appreciate the opportunities I've been given to pursue a career in medicine. And as an Aboriginal woman and doctor, I acknowledge these opportunities were denied to generations of Aboriginal people that went before me. I really want to encourage young Aboriginal people to consider a career in health and especially in medicine if it's something that they're passionate about. We need to build the presence of Aboriginal professionals in the healthcare workforce. This is essential in closing the disparity in health outcomes between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal Australians. I think if I can do it, you can do it too, and that's my message. I really enjoy working in general practice. The variety of patients I see and the continuity of care I give makes for a really rewarding career. I'm looking forward to many years working as a GP once I gain my fellowship. I'm especially keen to engage with other Aboriginal students and trainees to support and mentor others the way I was by some amazing Aboriginal doctors and GPs around the country. This was integral in getting me through the challenges that came training as a doctor. Once again, thank you so much to the college for this award, and I hope I might inspire and encourage others as I receive it. Thank you.
Yay for Dr. Josie. I'm pleased we're able to do that. All right, let's get back into the swing of things and get on to the awards. The 2020 General Practice of the Year. So as you heard just before the break, the RACGP General Practice of the Year Award recognises practices for their approach to patient health and wellbeing. Our 2020 finalists included Victoria Medical Centre for SANNT, the Nunda Village Family Practice in Queensland, Your GP at Crace in New South Wales and ACT, the Altona North Medical Group in Victoria, Fulham GP in WA, and the Saunders Street Clinic in Tasmania. It's my great pleasure to announce that the 2020 recipient of the General Practice of the Year Award is to Saunders Street Clinic in Wynyard, Tasmania. With a bright and electric community space, Saunders Street Practice is recognised as a high-quality centre of health delivery and GP training. With the provision of respiratory clinic on site during the COVID-19 cluster in Burnie, Tasmania earlier this year, brought the practice to even greater local prominence. I'd now like to welcome Jim Berryman to accept this award on behalf of the Saunders Street Clinic.
I'd like to acknowledge my fantastic team in Saunders Street Clinic in the small town in northwest Tasmania. The town about 5,000 people, 15,000 catchment, and a wonderful privilege and an honour to have been awarded the National Practice of the Year. 10, 11 years ago, myself and my wife decided to set up a practice in this town, and it started with about 300 patients and myself, and now we've got 10 or 11 doctors, about 5,000 patients, and we built our own fantastic surgery about 7, 8 years ago, which we made the surgery so it was a really nice place for people to work and a nice place for patients to come, and we made it as non-clinical as we possibly could. So thanks again to RACGP and to our local mayor who nominated us, and I'm honoured to receive this award on behalf of the practice. Thank you.
It wouldn't be 2020 if we didn't have a little incident of some kind, hey? So we just thought we'd string this out a little bit, keep you excited, keep you chatting, and the joys of technology means that we get a bit of a hiccup, but we're back again. and everybody is safe. So thank you so much for your patience. I hope you took the opportunity to top up the beverages. Let's get back on track. Because what I want to do is close out our Of the Year awards. So our final award is, of course, the 2020 RACGP General Practitioner of the Year Award. And I'm thrilled to be able to present this one. This prestigious award is presented to the GP who has demonstrated outstanding commitment to the general practice profession, excellence in primary healthcare provision, and a significant involvement in training and continuing professional development. Our 2020 finalists included Dr. Bronwyn Carson from SANNT, Dr. Emily Gordon from Queensland, Dr. Duncan McKinnon from New South Wales and ACT, Dr. Bernard Shui from Victoria, Dr. Rama Raman from WA, and Dr. John Ballantyne from Tasmania. So it's with great pleasure that I announce, after a slight delay, the 2020 recipient of the General Practitioner of the Year Award as Dr. Duncan McKinnon. Now, Dr. Duncan McKinnon has been a rural GP in Bega for over 25 years. He's an outstanding family doctor who's committed himself to his local community and to the training of doctors over many years. Recently, during the 2019-2020 bushfires and the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, he showed his leadership as one of the local GPs and displayed his ability to work in partnership with all parts of the local community in a time of crisis. His practice is well known for being a place of kindness and a place that is care for most socially disadvantaged and marginalised. His practice models teamwork and has doctors, nurses and psychologists all working closely together to provide a high quality and holistic service to patients. I'd now like to welcome Duncan to accept this award.
It's a real honour to be here tonight. I work with a really dedicated team of nurses, doctors and front office staff who've supported and facilitated the things we've achieved this year. It's a real blessing to be able to follow a vocation that you love and work in a community that appreciates your effort. No GP works in isolation, and without the support of the Nurse of the Year, my wife and our 4 children, much would remain undone. I was talking to a colleague last week who shared an interesting reflection. She said that awards like this serve an important purpose, and I hope that this will continue to be the case. Thank you.
Congratulations, Duncan, on that fantastic award. I'd now like to introduce the Chair of the RACGP Rural, Dr. Michael Clements, to present the RACGP Rural Awards.
Hello, my name is Dr. Michael Clements and I was recently appointed as Chair of the RACGP Rural Council. As Chair, I get the privilege of leading a group of very inspiring doctors across the country who are representing their rural communities in various parts of Australia. And we get together to talk about what we can do to support our members. Hot topics for us at the moment are getting rural generalism recognised by the AMC, and that hopefully will lead to better pay recognition for some of our great rural doctors in the rural areas. Also, of course, it's furthering the interests of our members who do not want to do rural generalism and are doing the bedrock work as rural GPs without engaging with their hospital service. So we've certainly got our work cut out for us as a rural faculty, and please take the opportunity to engage with the Rural Council member from your region and feed up your issues and concerns so that we can act on your behalf. One of my great privileges has been so far to actually call up some award winners. The RACGP Rural Awards recognise outstanding achievements and exceptional individuals for their contribution to rural general practice. Getting us started this evening will be the Brian Williams Award, which is the highest accolade that we can award as RACGP Rural. The Brian Williams Award commemorates the late Dr. Brian Williams, a rural GP, medical educator, and director of the WA Centre for Remote and Rural Medicine. Dr. Williams was a staunch advocate for rural general practice and the need for rural GPs to support their peers in order to advance rural general practice. The aim of this award is to acknowledge medical practitioners whose mentoring and support enables rural GPs to safely dedicate themselves to their patients, their families, and their communities. It is my great pleasure to announce that the 2020 recipient of the Brian William Award is Dr. Lorraine Hopkins. Dr. Lorraine Hopkins has spent most of her professional life as a rural GP in Albany, Western Australia. Prior to settling in Albany, where she has been a GP obstetrician, she undertook GP training via the Western Australian Centre for Remote and Rural Medicine and its Rural Training Unit. WACRM was at the time under the leadership of none other than Dr. Brian Williams, the inspiration for this eponymous award. It is against that backdrop that Lorraine has designed and delivered a skills-based workshop program to hundreds of rural and remote doctors as a medical educator for the Remote Vocational Training Scheme. Lorraine is an outstanding rural GP mentor and educator who has made a significant contribution to hundreds of rural and remote doctors, not only assisting them to gain fellowship qualifications, but equipping them with skills needed to serve their communities. Congratulations, Lorraine. Our next rural award is the Rural GP and Training of the Year Award. The Rural GP and Training of the Year Award recognises an exceptional registrar who demonstrates a commitment to improve the health and wellbeing of communities in rural or remote Australia and is open to all general practice registrars who are enrolled in the Fellowship in Advanced Rural General Practice through a regional training organisation. The award acknowledges those that have demonstrated both commitment to the rural general practice, evidence of service to rural patients, and evidence of commitment and service to the rural practice and community in which they work. It is my great pleasure to announce that the 2020 recipient of the Rural GP and Training of the Year Award is Dr. Emma Thompson. Dr. Emma Thompson is committed to rural practice, having moved to the Shoalhaven area with her family several years ago, where she was one of the first GP registrars to complete the Palliative Care Advanced Rural Skills Training Program. Emma has put her palliative care skills to excellent use in Milton, where she established a palliative care unit at Milton Ulladulla Hospital. Being located in the Shoalhaven area, one of the hardest hit areas during the 2019-2020 bushfires, Emma's commitment was tested further as she tirelessly worked to support the community. Emma's commitment goes beyond servicing her community, as she is truly part of her rural community. Congratulations, Emma. Our next rural award is the Rural Medical Student Bursary Award. The Rural Medical Student Bursary Award is awarded to a medical student who is a member of a Rural Health Students Club at an Australian university who submits the best essay on the topic, the role of rural GPs in managing disasters such as pandemics, bushfires, or floods. The essay is judged on the writer's demonstrated understanding of rural general practice, evidence of innovative thinking, and interest in a career in rural general practice. I very much enjoyed reading all of the applicants' essays. It was very inspiring to see such a great understanding of rural general practice amongst all of the medical students that submitted a paper. But in particular, it is my great pleasure to announce that the 2020 recipient of the Rural Medical Student Bursary Award is Mr. John Baptiste Filbert. John Baptiste is a John Flynn Scholar and went on his first placement in the Northern Territory attached to an Aboriginal medical service and Yingini. During this, he sat in on consultations with GPs, as well as remote nurses and Aboriginal health practitioners, and he'd like to become a procedural rural GP with a particular focus on working with Aboriginal populations. Congratulations, John Baptiste. I really enjoyed your essay, and I do hope others will get the opportunity to do the same. And you've made some great insight and big promises in that essay. So we look forward to a long future from you in the RACGP Rural Faculty. Our last rural award is the Community Project of the Year Award. The Community Project of the Year Award is open to a Fellowship in Advanced Rural General Practice recipient that has completed an innovative project which directly contributes to the healthcare improvement in a rural or remote general practice and positively impacts the town's community. The award acknowledges projects that have identified a clear rural or remote community need, demonstrated engagement in the community, and has demonstrated a contribution towards healthcare improvement in a rural or remote general practice. It is my great pleasure to announce that the 2020 recipient of the Community Project of the Year Award is Dr. Anna Cunningham. Dr. Cunningham's project was entitled Teachers Wellbeing Clinic, As a general practitioner working in the community of Mount Isa, Anna recognised a pattern of high presentation rates of teachers in distress, or with physical health complaints, which may have been related to mental health requiring support. After consultation with local stakeholders, a pilot on-site teacher wellbeing clinic was established over 2 school terms in an attempt at addressing any health needs of teachers that were impacting their general health and specifically their mental health. Overall, the clinic was able to engage and provide quality primary care to a small group of professionals who identified that it helped contribute to their general well-being. I really enjoyed reading that project and the outcomes. We know GPs provide the bulk of mental health care services across the country, even more so in the rural and remote areas where there might be reduced access to the specialist psychological and counselling services. Dr. Cunningham's project really was able to demonstrate a significant change in approach and also positive outcomes in this very needful group. And in fact, Mount Isa have been in contact with me since then, asking about how to apply some of those learnings in other ways in general practice. So congratulations, Anna. As chair of the RACGP Rural Council, it is my great honour to acknowledge this year's RACGP Rural Faculty Award winners and their significant contribution to rural general practice. Congratulations once again to our 2020 award winners, Lorraine, Emma, John Baptiste and Anna.
Thank you, Michael, and congratulations to all the RACGP Rural Awards recipients. I'd now like to introduce the Deputy Chair and South Australian representative of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health Faculty, Dr. Kaylee Hayward, to present their faculty awards.
Hi, my name is Dr. Carly Hayward. I am a Warraman woman from the Martu Nation. I'm an Aboriginal GP working at the Aboriginal Family Clinic in Noarlunga, and I'm also the Deputy Chair of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health Council for the RACGP. I'm here to introduce the award-winning recipients for the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health Awards, which I'm really excited about. So the RACGP Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health Awards recognise outstanding achievements and exceptional individuals for their contribution to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health and general practice. The first of our faculty awards we'll be acknowledging this evening is the Standing Strong Together Award. The Standing Strong Together Award celebrates partnerships between GPs and communities and is presented each year to a fellow member of the RACGP or an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander person who has contributed to improving health outcomes for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. It is my great pleasure to announce the 2020 recipient of the Standing Strong Together Award is Dr. Sarah Gleeson. Dr. Sarah Gleeson is a GP based in Goondiwindi, Queensland. She is a rural GP with a passion for cradle-to-the-grave medicine. The positive impact Dr. Gleeson has on her community was impressive. The creation of Aboriginal health worker role, the implementation of cultural practice survey to educate all different types of staff, and the continued provision of outreach services to neighbouring community, Boggabilla. It's incredible to see. Sarah has spent many years building rapport with the community of Boggabilla. Through her work with the Boggabilla Community Service to close the gap on Indigenous health, she has great understanding of the barriers faced by our First Nations people and accessing healthcare. So congratulations, Sarah. Next award is the Growing Strong Together Award. The Growing Strong Together Award celebrates Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander GPs in training who have an interest in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health and has demonstrated a commitment to giving back to the community. It's my great pleasure to announce the 2020 recipient of the Growing Strong Together Award is Dr. Justin Hunter. Dr. Hunter is just starting in his registrar training, and his ability to connect through culture continues to inspire him in all his pathways in medicine. Dr. Hunter is one of many Aboriginal doctors in the Australian Navy and hopes that through mentorship he can positively increase the number of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander doctors, not only in the Defence Force but in the wider community. We look forward to seeing more from Dr. Hunter as he moves forward throughout his fellowship journey. Congratulations, Justin. And our final award is the Medical Student Bursary Award. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health Medical Student Bursary Award is open to Aboriginal and or Torres Strait Islander medical students currently studying in an Australian university and who has an interest in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health and a career in general practice. It is my great pleasure to announce the 2020 recipient of the Medical Student Bursary Award, Ms. Joanne Kazmarek. Ms. Joanne Kazmarek is a Torres Strait Islander medical student in her third year at James Cook University. From her significant background in the Australian public service, which included diplomatic postings to Myanmar and Nauru, Joanne is looking forward to making a change in Indigenous and rural health. Joanne is passionate about sharing her passion for health with the whole community, believing that emerging medical concepts like holistic care, individualised medicine, social determinants of health, patient-centred care and healing at home are more than trends in medicine, but are practices embedded in Indigenous cultures that can enhance the health of the whole community. We look forward to watching Joanne excel in her general practice journey. Congratulations, Joanne. As Deputy Chair and South Australian representative of the RACGP Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Health Council, it is my great honour to acknowledge this year's award winners and their significant contribution to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health in general practice. Congratulations once again to our 2020 award winners, Sarah, Justin and Joanne. Thank you.
Well done, Carly, and thank you so much. Just to let you know, I want to set the record straight. Before, when we had our little glitch, we didn't head down to the pub. We were focused on getting back online, but we do appreciate some of those jokes. They were hilarious, so maybe we'll throw a few more jokes around at the end of it. Hey, I want to move on now to the RACGP Foundation Awards. The RACGP Foundation has been awarding grants, awards and scholarships for more than 50 years. And we graciously thank our funding partners joining us in investing in GPs and GP registrars to build general practice research evidence. Now, the following awards are from the RACGP Foundation and Research are acknowledging the 2019 winners who were determined following the GP19 held in Adelaide in October 2019. So the Best General Practice Research Article, AJGP Award, recognises research articles that have appeared in AJGP in the previous year, showcasing significant general practice research. The 2019 recipient is Dr. Grace Kim for her article entitled The CRISP-Q Study, Communicating the Risks and Benefits of Colorectal Cancer Screening, which appeared in AJGP Volume 43, Issue 3, March 2018. Congratulations, Grace. The 2019 Alan Chancellor Award was awarded to Dr. Rita McMorrow for her project presentation, Does RCGM Affect Health Service Utilisation? Congratulations, Rita. The 2019 Peter Mudge Medal was awarded to Associate Professor Joanne Mansky-Nankervis for her project presentation on simulation of a tool for antibiotic prescribing. Congratulations, Joanne. The 2020 recipient of the AGJP, going to get that right, the AJGP Award, big difference in those. The AJGP Award is Dr. Belinda O'Sullivan and team for their project presentation on factors relating to rural general practitioners supervising GP registrars in Australia, a national cross-sectional study. Congratulations to Belinda and the team. And the 2020 Alan Chancellor Award and Peter Mudge Medal will be awarded at the GP20 closing ceremony on Saturday, the 28th of November 2020. So be there for that one. I'd now like a moment to acknowledge all the 2020 RACGP Foundation grant recipients, which you'll see come up on the screen. The RACGP Foundation awarded 16 grants this year, which is a tremendous effort, and we graciously thank our funding partners for helping make these important research projects come to fruition. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening, and a huge congratulations to all of the recipients. Well, that's it. And it was a very 2020 COVID-y kind of experience. Started off strong, bit of a glitch in the middle, but at the end, we're all rocking and rolling back on deck and looking forward to what the future has for us. Thank you so much for interacting online. I'm sure GP20 is going to be a sensational event for those of you who are joining us for that. And don't forget to check out our sponsors and our partners there across the breadth of the app. You can do that over the weekend. You can do it later on tonight, whatever it is, whatever you need to do. Thank you so much for being here. As you move forward, I like to think in this troubled times that we stay positive but test negative. Thank you so much for your company. You've been fantastic. I've been Warwick. See you later.